I understand that the greatest danger to the Zaporizhia nuclear power station is damage to the cooling system for the spent fuel rods. Why doesn't Russia transport the rods back to safety in Russia where no such risks exist?
Well, I think in order to do that, you'd have to create some sort of a mobile cooling system. That might be impractical. There's a lot of rods. These are massive cooling ponds. Um, Probably the best thing is that the Ukrainians just stop trying to commit suicide by attacking these things. That's This is crazy. What's even crazier is that the IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, isn't calling them out, although they know exactly what's going on. I mean, it's stunning that at Russia's insistence, the last time the IAEA went out there, not the last time, but when they made that big trip earlier this year, the Russians said you have to bring some ballistics guys, and so they brought a pair. But the IAEA wouldn't let them publish their findings. All they were allowed to say is, "This is a shell hole," and I'm like, "Where did it come from?" But they didn't want to admit that all the shells came from the Ukrainian side. They didn't want to admit that, and they won't admit it today. They know full well, the whole world knows who is responsible for this, but because the world's gone Russophobic, gone insane, they won't say anything that paints Russia in a positive light. But I look. I think the Russians have this under control. I literally don't believe there's anything the Ukrainians can do to create a Chernobyl or a 3 Mile Island or a Fukushima type incident. This is a lot of hype designed to get the international community engaged, preferably from the Ukrainian perspective of getting international troops to come in and serve as a peacekeeping force surrounding the Zaporizhia area. And then the Ukrainians would say that's now our territory. So it would be a symbolic recapturing of territory. And Russia is just not playing that game. So there's that. We're coming to the point where the Ukrainian military is on the cusp of collapse. And once that happens, it's full scale reverse for them. And I think right now the Ukrainians are just desperately clawing on for survival leading up to the NATO summit. And then they're going to basically beg NATO to get involved, because that's the only chance Ukraine has is for NATO intervention. And that's not a chance, because I remind everybody, NATO can't fight this kind of war. They don't have the troops. They don't have the training. They don't have the logistical sustainability. They don't have the command and control. We can't go to war because we don't have the artillery shells to do this. This is artillery-driven conflict. If you take a heavy armored brigade from the United States Army with all 18 of their self-propelled M109 Paladins, and they go to war, even though it's only 18, they're going to run out of ammunition because we haven't planned for them to be firing all day long, for nonstop. They'll run out of ammo in 3, 4, 5 days. And when you run out of ammunition, artillery ammunition, in an artillery-driven conflict, everybody dies.